Citron Research has announced that it's now turned bearish on Tilray. The cannabis stock is currently trading above $80 a share, having gone public just 6 weeks ago at a lower share price of $17. Citron's founder, short seller Andrew Left, joins me now on the phone from California to discuss. Andrew, thanks for joining us. Let's start with Tilray. You loved the stock before the spike in the shares, and now you're shorting it. Can you explain to our viewers why you've changed direction on the stock? Is it purely on price?
Yeah, well, at $26 a share, where I initially thought it was a good buy, it was a good buy. They just went public at 17, and then you had the Canopy Constellation deal. So I thought, you know, Tilray could get a bit. Where it's trading right now is completely ridiculous. I mean, let's put it this way. Management's smart. 6 weeks ago, they sold stock at $17. That's 6 weeks ago. It's 6 weeks later. The stock's $82. So, yeah, I think it's gotten a little ahead of itself. The whole cannabis space has gotten a little ahead of itself right now.
So moving on to Cronos, you say that it's the dark side of the cannabis space, and you say it's the most overhyped of all the pot stocks. So what makes you so negative there?
I mean, Cronos isn't even a player. At least I could say Tilray's a player in the space. Cronos is not even there. They're just really a bunch of press releases, and you know, there's nothing, you know, there's no stake behind that sizzle. So they don't have any big agreements that you can see. They don't have the production that's necessary. You know, they just put out a lot of press releases, and it's extremely expensive. And yeah, it's the dark side. The dark side is not being ready for primetime player, but making it seem as if you are with all your press releases.
So you say the company has been deceiving the public by not disclosing the size of its distribution agreements with the provinces. You have a price target on the stock of $3.50. For context, it's now trading above $12. So if it disclosed those distribution agreements, where do you think the price target should move to?
I mean, I don't even think it'll make a difference soon, because sooner or later what's going to end up happening is you'll see the production come out in the next few months. And as it comes out, I think there's just going to be anemic, and then they're just going to switch the story to medicinal, international, or everything else except recreational Canada. So it's a moving target. The company had an opportunity to disclose the size of the agreements after I called them out, and they didn't disclose it. So I think that right there speaks volumes. And I just don't think they have the ability to feed the market what would support its stock price.
So let's get your views on Canopy growth, because the shares jumped after its price target was upgraded by Cowen and Company. It's been trading well, very, very well since its $4 billion deal with Constellation Brands, which you mentioned earlier. Do you see further upside for the stock from here, or is the price action a little overextended?
I mean, I wouldn't buy the stock. I wouldn't short the stock. I think a lot of it's built in. Now let's go to the execution side. You know, this is not going to be... The cannabis story is going to be a long story, okay? It's not going to be won or lost in 1 year or with one player. So, you know, based on that, I wouldn't jump to any conclusions.
So you've obviously had some really fantastic trades so far. The CV Sciences short trade, for example, in August, making 70% in a week. What stocks are you looking at next?
I mean, I think there are some good buys in the cannabis space. I'll be releasing them soon. But I think that, you know, I think the Cronos was a nice buy at 26. But I think the whole space can come down, you know, in cannabis, especially October 17th, which is the day in Canada when legalization occurs, when we see recreational. And people will understand that these cannabis stocks, they're agricultural stocks. They're heavy capital stocks that need farming equipment. You produce them, regulated margins. This is not Bitcoin, okay? This is not, you know, Amazon. So when people realize that, I think the space will come in.
Now, so you mentioned the 17th of October there. Obviously, that's when it's set to be legalized in Canada. And you said they're likely to be more losers than winners. So what advice do you have, or what metrics do you look at in order to sort of decipher which stocks look set to stand out?
Well, the key thing that's going to make a big difference is the cost per gram, is to see, you know, how much people can produce the cannabis for. You know, that's going to be a major factor in how much you can sell it for. And I think if history proves itself, like we saw in the U.S., the price is just going to go lower, lower, and lower. And as the price goes lower, the margins get smaller, the profits are smaller. You know, I mean, it sounds so crazy to say, but think about this as tomatoes. Okay, I'm sure the consumption of tomatoes is probably bigger than the consumption of cannabis, right? But you just plant more tomatoes. You open greenhouses. In the U.S., we have nothing but farmland and farmers who would be willing and able to start planting it. So, we'll see it soon. Price coming down.
So what do you make of this sector's volatility? Because, of course, we've been seeing wild gyrations in some of the cannabis share prices when you compare them to more traditional sectors. So do you see that volatility continuing, at least in the short term?
No. Right now, it's attracting the hot money. Everyone's looking to get in it right now. They think it's a gold rush. So it's getting a lot of hot money. People who are just renting stocks, not owning stocks. I don't think if you own Canopy here, I don't think you could just buy it here. You might buy it for a trade, but not long term.
All right, Andrew, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
That was Andrew Left, founder of Citron Research, joining us down the line from California. Thank you for watching IGTV. I'm Victoria Scholar, and we'll see you very soon.
Subscribe to IG for educational content, company insight, financial analysis, and expert commentary.